Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. HOR Detroit closing the Feast of Tabs. Today is our last day, of course, and we're packing up, racking up, trying to get back home to jump these hurdles. We got to jump them hurdles. We got to be a track star, right? Okay, so now one thing about it is that, see, keeping the commandments is a plus, because anytime the Lord say, I want you to rest, and only time you want to rest is when He don't say it. He says, Sabbath day I want you to rest. But that's the day you don't want to rest. That's the day, everything come up to invite you in to the wickedness, so and then like the Feast of Tabs, every day that the Lord got, there's defense from Satan to distort you, to not do the will of the Father. Detroiters, we did a great job. We came out for the feast. It was a glorious state in our tents. Of course, with me, it's just not enough rain. We didn't have enough rain. But then again, I'm kind of glad we didn't, because it kind of was raining in our tent. But I think we had we did something wrong as far as the top of it. So. But when you can enjoy the Lord's holidays, you got to understand that when you're enjoying, people enjoy Halloween. They know how to hook it up, right? Better than we can hook up our tents. These people know how to enjoy the wicked days, and we don't know how to enjoy the Father's holidays. And have you ever like maybe a person that have not been around as kids so long, whether you've been in jail, whether you've been in the army, whether you've been in college or whatever you've been, when you come back and you deal with the kids, you got to get reconnected with them. You see, because they've been detoured another way, because you're not there to give them your spirit, to show them how to relate with you along this walk, right? And that's the Father. That's how lHOI is with us. How to relate with Him along this walk on the planet. And so, and He give us the blueprint right here, our Bible, and He made it so strategic to where the enemies did not take this Bible from us. And if they understood this Bible like we do today, they already thinking that, man, we should have never ever brought this Bible, because when they call when they call that there's going to be a grand waking up, they're not talking about nothing but the Bible, because you can't wake up in the Quran. Why? Because you in the Quran with another nation. You can't wake up with other nations, because they are the ones that got you on a certain level to where you can't go no higher. They the one got a leash around your neck, so you can't wake up with the other nations. Even in the Bible, you can't wake up with the other nations in this Bible. You can wake up thoroughly if you and only God is dealing with the Word, right? And you studying God's Word, because don't nobody praise the Lord, don't nobody take hits for the Lord like Israel do. We take hits. We take head-on truck accidents for the Lord, as far as keeping His commandment. Because compared to the church, they more like that's in the Old Testament. We don't have to we can eat pork because all we do is pray over it. Well, we taking a head-on collision with that scripture, because we're not doing it at all, because He had once said it. And we know in Malachi 3:6 it says He changed not. So if He said it, then that's to the end. You know, in the Revelations 22:14, it says, "He that keep his commandments will have the tree of life." So open up the book and then closing the book is telling you how to keep his commandments, right? Only person that's telling you anything different is the other nation that you're walking with. If you're walking with an Arab dealing with the Quran, if you're walking with the white man dealing with the Bible, then you're not going to understand this book, right? Okay, so now when we stress to you about keeping these commandments, one thing about it is that I'm gonna tell you, and I know how a lot of us feel. Those who have not done it and trust in the Lord have some type of wound issue, and I'm gonna show you what's dangerous. If you stop keeping the commandments and there's no pain there, you're in really danger. But if you're not keeping the commandments and you're sorrowful, then you're gonna get punished. I'm not gonna even lie to you. You're gonna get punished for not keeping the commandments. Let's just be serious about that. You're gonna get punished. So for not keeping the commandments and you're waiting on your punishment and you hope to not do it again, that's just like a child. If I come in and you didn't do your homework, or you came home and there was issues in school, and I find out constantly, I'm about to punish you, right? Okay, so now you should know when your punishment is coming to you from your father or from your parents. I know that if I don't keep these commandments, I'm going to get punished. Let's say I just blow the Sabbath, right? I know that week I'm waiting on the Lord to put something down on me to where I understood that I didn't keep the Sabbath, so these problems is gonna occur. I'm grown, I know that. I'm not retarded. Retarded is when the Lord is whipping you and you don't know why. Matter of fact, you don't even know He's doing it. That's retarded. When it's retarded that your parent you had to go upstairs and get a whipping because you acted up in school all this week, and so now you're going upstairs to get a whooping and you don't know why you're getting a whooping. And He's telling you that I'm whooping you for messing up in school today, and that's what you did. And so He's gonna take you upstairs and whoop you. Now after your whooping, you don't know why you got it. That's retarded. So smart thing to do is that I know He's gonna do something to me. That's how I do it. I know that I didn't do something right in His eyes, so I know something bad is gonna come about. That's just me and His relationship. I can expect it. You know what I'm saying? And then I know that He's gonna get me out of it through prayer and fasting. But I want to pray and fast by other things moving forward. I don't want to pray and fast by being in a hole, trying to pray and fast my way out. I want to be out the hole, because even when you get out the hole, you got to pray and fast through all things. You got to pray and fast about the other things that has not got you in a hole with the Lord. You got to fast hurdles, jumping over demon hurdles. You got to do fast about helping your grandkids, or you got to do fast about all types of stuff, bills, or wickedness, or all types of stuff that you got to that you're gonna run into, during your walk with the Lord. Not getting out of headlocks because you're not keeping these high holy days, and you got to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? I got to deal with the world, and with the world alone, I got to fast and pray. Now here you is. Clip falling over the high holy days, like it's ice out, like it's a zero below out there, and you slide on ice. So you got to get off that. Then you got to get off this, and you cannot get off this because this gonna always be before you until your house shall come. But don't put yourself in double jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have to. And I'm gonna tell all of us, to believe it or not, the women's. Well, I'm not a woman, so I don't, and I have not heard too many women saying, this guy take me out the truth, and so I don't really deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it exists, but it's not on a broad to where it's relevant to where it's constantly coming in my ears, or our ears, or we have to send you to the to the elders, even though I'm an elder, we got to see a certain place. Or even if I got to get renewed from the elders on how to deal with this matter with you, you know. So these things, you know, exist, right? But what I do deal with is with men's, you know, and what I do see is sometimes, you know, what bring, but I see it in the Bible too. With Solomon, women's would tear a gangster up in the truth. If you're a gangster in the truth, your kryptonite gonna be a woman 9 times out of 10, because I see how I see how the devil used them, right? Adam kryptonite was his woman paid attention to the devil, right? More than she did to him. You see what I'm saying? And so that was his kryptonite. And the reason why it's his kryptonite is because we're all Adams. We all would have did what he did with that woman. You see what I'm saying? So a woman can affect all of us. Now I'm not saying that women's is the fault of men's falling. I'm not saying nothing at all. None of that at all. But you know what? I am pretty much saying that, to think about it. A lot of men that fall has been because of women's. You know, very few of them fall because of other, I don't know, but the major punch that knocks a lot of brothers out is that left hook is coming from a woman. They can't take that. I wouldn't care almost who it is. They can't take that left hook that's coming from a woman. So a lot of women get men out the truth. Even when you're dealing with the strongest man ever lived, Samson. You know, Goliath, she got him out the truth. You know, Delilah, she got him out the truth. You see what I'm saying? She found his weakness, you know, and so, and Adam, her. And so we're no better, right? You know, we're no better. That's why it's so important to fight for the Lord, because, you know, it become obvious. We don't have to see it. We know the word. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing new under the sun. What that's saying is that what happened in the beginning is when Christ come back, it's still gonna be going on. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, we have to continue on to fight to do right for the Lord. And the Lord don't see it as being an excuse to dodge the things that He say do. You know, it's no excuse. You know, so I'm just giving a tune up that hopefully it tightens screws up to every brother on all levels, in all cities, in all countries. You know, tighten up for the Lord, because the devil only got 2 major weapons, 3 maybe, money, women's, and probably drugs. So them the 3 major things he will use to distort you away from the Lord. You know, and we have money, women's, and drugs. Yeah, of course, because now, you know, he'll take you on top of the mountain and give you the world. You know, but you know, I'm gonna show you something. You know, even the rich people, they being quiet because they don't want their money taken away from them, right? And so they're not keeping the high holy days because of Esau got their money at threat. Now, you ain't even got half the money that they do, and you ain't got half of the things that they do, and you got weak reasons of not keeping the commandments, right? You got weak ass reasons for not keeping the commandments, you know, and they gotta be weak, because everybody that I know, at least lead me on that they're not filthy rich. And so I can see that if a person filthy rich and he do not help his people, and then another person, he's not filthy rich and he's really not keeping the commandments, don't get him no money, because he gonna be way away from us. You see what I'm saying? So people that's rich as heck, and of course they're not keeping the commandments 9 times out of 20. And then the people that rich as hell, when they hear that these things are happening to us, whether it's by the police, whether it's by the government, whether it's by the CIA, FBI, all these bad things that happen to us, the rich people is not saying anything, right? So another thing came to me is about Bud Crawford. He got pulled over. They say, he wanted to fight, got keys to the city. Listen. I don't really. One thing about us is that we get too far deep into the rich people, but who got our head missing is Esau, because we got a head of his butt, so our head is missing. Rich black folks, we got our head up their butt because our head is missing. Because you can see where it says, well, they pulled him over, they was wrong. Listen, they've been wrong since they've been putting us over. They've been wrong from day one. How is they so wrong? Because they put a rich black person over, and now what he's going through is what we all been going through. But since he's going through it, they see it different. It ain't no different. He's different. That's who's different. He's different to us. And so when we see him going through it, we're like, hold on, all of a sudden our heart go out a little more heavier. Listen, my heart ain't going out heavier for none of them. I care no more about a rich brother that's getting pulled over and shot and killed than I do a poor brother that's getting pulled over, shot and killed. I don't see the difference. The white man don't see the difference. And so if the rich black person do see the difference, and then a poor black person that got their head up the rich person's butt and sees it different, then both of them is an illusion, because both of them have left the poor black person, which they are. If your people is not rich, are living on a godly level on this planet, then we all is poor. Anybody gonna say, well, is you Bud Crawford's son before I shoot you? They don't do that. They don't give a damn who you are. They see one thing, and they see it abroad. Michael Jordan's father got knocked off. They didn't see him no different. Bill Cosby's son got knocked off. They didn't say, was you Bill Cosby's son? You know what I'm saying? Or was you Michael Jordan's? They didn't give a damn about who you are. And Shaquille O'Neal, daughter got slapped by a cop, pimp slapped by a white boy, right? He got tears in his eyes. Listen, I'm talking about rich people, or those who are in camps, not focused on keeping the commandment. I'm talking about everybody. This is not major or no point about anybody. Then again, it is a point on everybody that could do better. Even me, keep the Feast of Tabs, we all could do better. Even me keeping it, I can do better in keeping it. I don't know how, and if you're not keeping it, you can do better by keeping it. And I can do better when I'm keeping it and keeping it, right? Why? Because I could have been doing more reading, more catching up, more classes. I could be doing a lot, you know what I'm saying? So, sometimes we get stagnated and our phone takes us for 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. Some people 2 and 3, 4 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So in keeping his commandments, we can all do better. And I'm talking about those who keep his commandments can do better in keeping it. And so I'm talking about the whole broad. So, you may feel it does. You got to feel it, because I'm talking about everybody. So, we cannot give people that's supposed to be rich a pass. We can't do that. Matter of fact, we tighten up the boat harder, right? Because when it comes to your people, Moses and Aaron and all those who have fought for the people and died for the people, Stephen, Paul, Peter, John, of course, Yahushua, and everybody. When we start, as they continue to keep the commandments, they had to follow rules, the Lord's rules. The Lord has rules, and this is the best day on the planet to be an Israelite. This is the best day on the planet because it was the Israelites. I have not seen not the news, not the army, not the government. No one say 2 years ago that that the that Trump was gonna do this today, right? And martial law is coming. I have not heard that. Priest Shabbat, who I follow, and Elder Torah, and the leaders who I follow, have been saying this for 10 years, 20 years. I mean, at least the 10 that I knew of about them. So let's say 10 years they've been saying this, and now I see it. And so one thing about it is that when it comes to the truth, all that church stuff, that's nothing. When it comes to prophecies, and then you see it come up, come and unfold in your lifetime. You see what I'm saying? You have to be like, this is true. You see, now only way you're gonna know it's true if I say the lottery tomorrow is gonna be 11:47. That's gonna be the lottery tomorrow. Now, if that be the lottery tomorrow, you know, I might put $2-3 on it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just joking. But anyway, the lottery tomorrow, say if it be that, right? Okay, so now you're gonna pay attention to me. Why? Because there's money involved. But you're not paying attention to me when that lake of fire in your soul, your soul involved. You should be more canon to do what I'm telling you, to listen to the word of God, more than money can dig you into the deepness of God, into the deepness of the way of your heart may feel. Because as long as you're chasing money, everything's great. I see people, oh man, you know, I got this money, the Lord sent it to me. The Lord don't give a damn if you got the money or not. Some of it don't, you know, people don't care about that. You ain't been praying, you ain't been fasting, you ain't asked about it, so it'll fall on you. It can come from anywhere. And though you got it, that's cool. He may have sent it to you, and he may not. You know, it's no big deal. But what I'm trying to say is that all things that take place because it fits your standards doesn't mean it comes from the Lord. Especially if you're not even connected to the Lord. Especially if you're not, you don't know no scriptures. You see what I'm saying? And so when you start living for the Lord, you start seeing things, and even in us, most people will get the greatest thing going on the Sabbath when they're supposed to keep it. Like, oh, there's the movie come out on the Sabbath, the fight come out on the Sabbath, the greatest fight come out on the Sabbath. Cash your check on the Sabbath. It's just so many ways to break the Sabbath. And most times when you're talking to a female or talking to a male, he got something to do with you on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? And there's no greater day to do it. So most times we'll put the Lord to the side. That's right, because the new Lord today is the person we're dealing with. That's the new Lord today. And so, when you actually see the Father, you're gonna wish you wouldn't have made them mistakes. I mean, because you're not wishing now that you know that your week gonna be messed up. Or to me, at least to me, I know if I'm not keeping the commandments, if I break some commandments, which I have, my week was blew out, and it happened spontaneously to that day. My week was messed, and so this is how I know the Lord is dealing with me, and this is how I know the Lord is dealing with y'all and you, and some of us youth don't even know that they're dealing with y'all because y'all don't know the punishment that y'all going through. There's a lot of people would not be going through as much punishment if they was keeping the commandments. And they don't know that. That makes them foolish. That there makes them foolish. With me, I know if I do this, if I do that wrong, he's gonna crack my head. I know that. And so when he do crack my head, the next week I do keep it and he don't crack my head. Then 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, I don't keep it and they do crack my head. And then I keep it for 4 months. Then a week that I don't keep it, he do crack my head. And so I know he's dealing with it. He's chasing those he loves. And so I know he's dealing with me, right? And so I'm not gonna go to 8 years of that, of doing that dumb junk, because that makes you retarded. I may go through a year trying to say, hey, was that real? The day I didn't keep the commandments, all this had happened. Is that real? the day I was keeping the commandments, I had a smooth week, you know what I'm saying, and continue to pray. I had a smooth week. And so it's not gonna take me 4 and 5 years to figure that I'm tired of getting whooped. I'm not gonna keep messing up in school thinking that when I get home, you know, I'm not gonna get a whooping. And so when you mess up in school, you get home, you're gonna get a whooping. I'm gonna figure out, stop messing up in school so I can have a peaceful home. Cause I got to go there. You got to go to home. When you get there, you want it to be home. You can't get there and it be hell to you. Because home can be two things. It can be hell to you. It's give you two options, matter of fact. One option is gonna be hell to you, and one option is gonna be a home to you. That's it. That's the only option we got with the Lord. Ain't no gray line. Ain't no, okay, well, I did, you know, some people be like, well, cremate me, like they getting away. Just cremate me, right? Cremate me, and I ain't got to deal with the Lord. I did all I want on this planet, and then you get ready to cremate me, I ain't got to go to hell. I don't understand if you think your soul is the flesh. That's retarded. Your soul is not the flesh. You see what I'm saying? And so when you start reading the Bible, you start understanding who you are. Who want a person that don't know themselves? You know, there's no reason why would you prove a person and then come about proving is pretty much almost dating. Then you come around to marrying the same person, but that person that you went all through that with don't know themselves. You don't know yourself until you have a relationship with the Lord. You don't know yourself until you start doing what the Lord say. If you want to do better in life, you have to do what the Lord said in order to do that. Because in the Bible, he said, I make it you rich. But you are Israel. You're already rich. You're just trying to be pinto rich. And so you left your richness and to seek pinto richness, and you're doing it without the Lord. That's a hell of a hole. You're supposed to own the planet. All right, you left your richness, which is your connection, which you've been Israelites. You call yourself Baptist. I don't care what you call yourself. If you're not calling yourself Israelite, you are down 10 feet deep. If you're not calling yourself who you are. Now, if you don't know who you are, then you're not in tune, because you got to be. If you don't know that you're Israelites, there has to be some type of satanic ritual that's going on that you're in that's gonna keep you disconnected from you knowing you're Israel. And that satanic got to be in any of the 12 churches. Their power is to keep you from knowing you're Israel. That satanicness is in any of the Muslim churches. If you're a Muslim, you're not gonna say you're Israelite. If you're in any church, you're not gonna say you're Israelite, right? And that's who you are. Because if you open up the Quran, 2nd Susa 122 is gonna tell you that Israelites are God's chosen people. In this Bible, right? Deuteronomy 7:6 is gonna tell you that you're God's chosen people above all people on the planet. So in both books, in the white in the book that the white man have tampered with, even in that book is gonna say that you're God's chosen people. And in the Arab book, you know, 2nd Susa 122 is gonna say that you're God's chosen people. Now, even though that's just one little sentence or one chapter, but it should be all over the Bible, but especially in the Quran, is one little piece. In every book, there's a piece of saying of the chosen people of God, and that's us. But you cannot keep the laws in that house next door and then come over here and think we have the same laws. You know what I'm saying? You know, over here you may have to make sure that the toilet stool is clean, the bathroom is clean, your hands is washed. Over in this house. In that house, in the house where the white folks at, you ain't got to brush your teeth. You can just wipe your butt one time with some tissue, and just put your drawers on and everything on. You gotta double check it to make sure you triple clean. You gotta do that. Just one wipe. Don't look back. Don't even, matter of fact, just don't look back, touch the toilet, put your pants on, and just walk straight out. You have to wash your hands. That's that house. But in this house, you can't do that. You gotta make sure yourself is clean, your spirit is clean, your soul is clean, your scriptures is clean and understanding unto you. You know what I'm saying? And so if your spirit is not clean and understanding to you, you got a problem when you come over this house. Because this house don't run on that type of accord. And on a Sabbath day, this house rests. You got to be running out here talking about you want to go to the bar, go to this movie going on. This movie going, the same movie that they're going to play Friday, Saturday, is going to play Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And so, anytime, and I'm going to tell you how we kick against the Lord. I have never known somebody to say, okay, you can take these 2 days off. It's on the house. You won't get paid for it. You ain't gonna do nothing for it. We're just gonna give you these 2 days off, and you're gonna get paid for it and go by your way, right? A person with common sense that's not a coon is gonna say, I'll take them days off. I'm gonna get paid for it. I can go do what I want. A person with common sense is gonna do that. But when the Lord tell you the same thing, take these days off. Since the Lord said it, I want to kick against these days. I don't want to take the Sabbath off. I got I got all types of stuff going on the Sabbath. I can't even see myself talking to anybody that I love to help me keep the Sabbath because they're not on that level. They're gonna help me now. If I tell them to help me to break the Sabbath, that'd be easy for them. But when I tell them to help me keep the Sabbath, I'm not even strong enough against enough to even talk to them about that because they're greater than the Lord to me. That's how they become. They become greater than the Lord to you when you don't even discuss them who the Lord is to you and the reason why you can't do it. That means you don't put the Lord in a backpack, and He's not serious to you. You know, I mean, right now, if the Lord is not serious to you, and you see how He's making the other nations turn on themselves. He making as soon as they start coming back to the blacks, you know what I'm saying? Then other stuff start going on. Now they got to go back to Israel, right? They whoever is in Chicago right now, running the streets. The white man army is in Chicago right now, but they got to stop in Chicago. And they need to cut it because they got to go back to Israel. And so they got to stop what they're doing in Chicago just to go back to Israel. Why? Because Israel is starting to bang out again, right? With Palestinians and other nations, you know. And I'm gonna show you something. When you look back and you say, well, Israel done destroyed the Palestinians, and then 4 months later, there's another group of Palestinians that they got to go back and fight. It's like the Lord is actually keeping them so busy. And when they think the Palestinians wiped out, 4 months later, they got to go right back. The Lord is not giving them no rest in that city of Israel that belongs to us. They're not getting no rest. Just when they think they got peace, destruction is coming. And so if they got to get rid of all the Palestinians, guess what? You done tore all the houses up, but now the Palestinians got tents everywhere in Palestine. So now they got to re-bomb, re-fight, and everything. You see what I'm saying? And you would think that all the things they have already done to Palestine, that they should be wiped out. No, they're not wiped out. And this is the crazy part, is because the Lord keeping it going, keeping it going, and keeping it going. After Putin had a meeting with Trump, this is how you know Trump is a punk. He had a meeting with Trump, and soon after the meeting, he went straight and started bombing Ukraine 10 times more. He went straight and started flying his drones all over the other areas that we protect. This is how you know Trump is a punk. He have not dealt so with any other president in that manner. because Trump is the weakest. You know, you one thing about it, you don't have to tell me that this person is weak. I can see by the meeting and how you carry yourself that the way you feel about that meeting, you feel that meeting was nothing to stop you from doing what you're doing. Matter of fact, you feel that meeting convinced you to do it more harder, and he wanted you to stop. But if you come back and do it more harder, and Trump wanted you to stop, that means Trump is a punk to him. You see what I'm saying? As far as he's concerned, Trump is a girl. It's just like he left a meeting with a woman. You see what I'm saying? He might have been meeting with that black woman that would have been the president. He would have did the same thing. But you think he would have did that if an Israelite was a president? He would have did it even if Obama was a president. When Obama told him to do something, he actually did it with the same bombs he had. He had the Satan 2 and the Satan 1 bomb when he met with the light-skinned president. So, but the point is that you can start seeing things, right? Because the meeting that we have with the Lord, and then you see your own, you see other cities, whoever they with, you know what I'm saying, keeping and not keeping, and you have a meeting that we all should be keeping it, right? Keeping these high holy days and these things and that. Then if Trump don't care about the meeting that he had with, if Putin don't care about the meeting that he had with Trump, and he leave the meeting to do 10 times as much damage, which Trump didn't want. He see Trump as weak. And so a lot of us see God as weak because these high holy days we supposed to keep, but what we do, we keep them 10 times less every year. Because we start seeing God as weak. But that's very dangerous because what we have to do, we have to come to a point and about. And I you know what? To me, I don't get it. If you can keep taking these whoopings that God cracking you, I know God cracking your head because I know how you get down with me. And if God not touching you about being serious about his high holy days, then he don't want you. But if he's splitting your skull and cracking your neck about not doing what he told you to do, then he wants you. And my point is how you continue to take them whoopings. That's where I'm coming from. How you continue to take them whoopings, even you retarded and don't know that this is why you're getting whooped, are you just like whoopings? You know what I'm saying? Some females be like, hey, I don't want you to take me to the bedroom unless you're choking me, whooping me, drag me in there, elbowing me, taking my shoes off, hit me upside the head, twisting over the bed. We're gonna do it under the bed, put the bed on top of us, and make it hard on us. I don't understand that. You see what I'm saying? But I guess there's some people like it like that. And so if you like them whoopings, you know where to get them. You can play with the Lord and not keep his commandments, you're gonna get punished. You know what I'm saying? Until he's take the spirit away from you. You know, and as we have seen that with other camps, how he just took the spirit away from a person. You know, this person was wise, genius. You see what I'm saying? And there's no reason why we all should not continue to reverence in the Lord, because we get strength from everybody. I get strength from Detroit. I get strength from Chicago. I get strength from New York, Philadelphia. I get strength from LA. I get strength from Atlanta. I get strength from North Carolina. I get strength from Tennessee. I get strength from everywhere, right? But the Lord gonna be like, you know what? I had this strong person with you, and you've been weak. So there's no excuse. You know, sometimes you can say, well, I ain't got nobody with me. But if you're weak and you got a strong person with you, and you cut as a weak person to the Lord. See, one thing you can say, well, Lord, I ain't never had nobody, strong with me or help me to do your will. You know what I'm saying? Or help me to, you know, combined with me with these high holy days or whatever. I just ain't have that. So that's why I'm weak. Okay? But the Lord gonna be like, well, I put that in your position. You have these people here that's strong, and you still weak with these strong people here. If you weak and you got some strong people doing His will, you're supposed to be connected to that. You triple weak, because you're not weak with nobody that's not doing His will. You weak with a strong person that's doing His will. That's just like, you shoot basketball. You got a person that's doing everything, and you on his team, weak as hell. Now, sometimes when you're on the right team, it's supposed to make you better. You see what I'm saying? But if you're not better with the right person on your team, you triple weak. You know what I'm saying? And there's no excuse with the Lord, because it's just like the Christians. Christians say, since you read that in the Bible, then you said it. And that's just like us today. When we don't want to do His will, since you saying what you're reading in the Bible and it's true, you saying it. And they're not gathering up that what I just read in the Bible is the Lord saying it. And the church do the same thing. All Israel should be saved. Only Israel is going to be saved. They're going to be like, well, that's what you're saying because you read it. Not knowing that I just read what God's saying, and they put it to you, because they can't say, well, if that's what God said, I don't want to do it. They don't do that. They say that's what you said in God's word, and so I'm going to deny it. That's how they do it. And anybody that don't want to do the will of the Lord, whether you're an Israelite or whether you're a Christian, this is where you go. You go to, since you said it, even though you read it, I don't have to do it. Because I'm looking at you is the reason why I don't have to do it. Not knowing that you're looking at the wrong person. I'm doing what the word say do. Well, since you're doing what the word say do, you're doing it, you read it, so it's you I can turn down. I don't have to do it since you read it and you're doing the word. I can look at you and say, I don't have to do it. And that's what's going on. A lot of people think that they got to come to camp and do all this stuff because the person that's standing up for the Lord is doing it. They turning that person down. And that's not true. I mean, that's so stupid to where they're either the Lord got them in a delusion or they was born delusional. Because there's nowhere in the world you can read that Jesus is black and just paint a picture that he's white and then say he's white, but you read he's black. You know that reading is more important than the picture. And so the opposite of them, they'll say, since you read it, you are the picture and I don't have to do it. You're the picture of what you're reading. And so I blame it on you. I cannot come to camp because I'm not coming to camp because for you. You're not coming to camp for me. You know what I'm saying? And the great part about it is that I can't punish you for not coming to camp. But even though the Lord punished you for not coming to camp, you'll still say, hey, it's you. I really don't get it. I don't get it how we psychologically get twisted up by trying to enjoy ourselves in this kingdom. And see, the greatest part is that the Lord bring you enjoyment. The Lord makes you rich. The Lord do everything for you. You see what I'm saying? But we so far away from Him because we made it hard to go to Him and do His things when He just made it that much easier. Listen, keep my commandments is so easy. He said it. Well, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Well, if I keep His commandments, that's gonna be done anytime, anyway, because I'm keeping His commandments. And so, why don't we put the Lord to the? Why don't we build our relationship up with the Lord by just doing what He say and see the outcome? And at least we can say, you know what, Lord, you told me to do this. Outcome wasn't like this, so it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? At least you can get deep into the communication with Him and say, hey, Lord, that's your fault. That didn't work out. You know, you said this was gonna turn out this way if I did this and it didn't. At least deal with Him on what he's saying and be potent with your decisions with him, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to speak back to him is to say he's right or he's wrong. But you don't even want to go that far. You just don't want to do nothing and say the person that's doing it, I'm doing it for him. And you ain't doing a damn thing for none of us that's doing it. You're not doing it for the Lord. And these are the reasons why these circumstances come about. All of us. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to give all praises, because one thing about keeping these commandments is that it gives you one thing about courage. It's just like, if you get on the basketball court nervous, you're gonna miss a lot of shots. But if you get on the basketball court with courage, you're gonna make a lot. And anybody that played basketball know what I'm talking about. Any person that got into their dealings with confidence know it always turn out better. But anybody got into their dealings, whatever you're dealing with, and you got into it with nervousness, you know that you wasn't happy of the turnout. But if you got into your dealings with confidence, you appreciate the turnout that much more, right? And sometimes you have to practice. But even with us, when we get into our dealings with the Lord, I know that the next whatever blessing that the tabernacle brings, I know it's coming to me. I can't beat that. I can't. Whatever the blessings of keeping the tabernacle is gonna bring, I might not know what type of blessing that keep the tabernacles is gonna bring, but I know what I'm gonna get that. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that. And nothing like having confidence when it's over with, knowing that that's mine. Nothing like having confidence when the Sabbath's over with. I kept that. My week is gonna be, because I can say, well, Lord, this happened. Why? I kept the commandments. I kept the Sabbath days. I can approach him and I can talk to him, saying, well, this I expected not to happen, because unless you got something deep and another hurdle I got to jump to prove my way, or you exercising my strength to get me onto another level to fight to fight this war with you. And so maybe that. But one thing I can say, I can question, like, Lord, you said, Father, you said, look, Father, you promised, you can't. You see what I'm saying? I can say that, but personally, you can't say a damn thing, because you ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you can do is get quack, 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 quack. I can discuss. I can say, let that not be. I can do a whole lot. Why? Because the Lord negotiate with Moses. He negotiate with those who keep his commandments. He don't deal with those who not. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, it's like, you gotta be. I always say you gotta be a gangster. You gotta be a gangster keeping the Lord's commandments. This is for gangsters. Doing the Lord's work is for gangsters. It ain't for, you gotta be a gangster to do this work. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for many. I'm not talking about nobody and none of that. But by me saying you gotta be a gangster and I kept it, it helps me. If I say that you got to be a gangster in keeping his commandments, and I've been keeping them, and I'm saying you got to be a gangster, it helps me to do it more, and it helps me to feel like I'm in the right area. But if I say you got to be a gangster in keeping his commandments and you ain't being, you're gonna feel the opposite. But I'm not talking about you, because I'm only saying you got to be a gangster because it makes me feel that much more in keeping them. But it makes you feel not a gangster because you're not keeping them. And so yeah, I can pat myself on the back, Lord, keep me moving. Do not take your spirit away from me, and I want to be a gangster for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. So all those who have nourished and doing His will is very important. It's very, very important. Some people may say, hey, he's doing good. Listen, I ain't got nothing that the Lord have not gave me. No matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? The Lord have gave me some grandkids, hard headed as hell. You know what I'm saying? And it's like lifting weights. I'm building up muscles by dealing with them. This is like lifting some weights I can't even lift. Matter of fact, I might twist myself and hurt myself by dealing with some of these things. You know what I'm saying? But He gave them to me. And the only thing I can do is what? Pray to Him. You know what I'm saying? Pray to Him because, even though, we try our best, you know what I'm saying, in keeping His commandments. Also, we have to continue to try our best in giving these things over to the Lord that's giving us a hard time. And how you do that is you cannot worry. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe. And see, when you got faith and worry don't go together. You can't worry and have faith. You see what I'm saying? And what builds up your faith? Keeping these commandments. Because you can be like, hey, I've been trying to keep these commandments, and I need faith in this area. I can use that. You can't use faith and you ain't been keeping the commandments because it don't go together. If you ain't been keeping the commandments and you want to try to use faith, it's not going to work. I don't know what the Christianity on. I mean that's some weird stuff right there. That's some what you call it? That's some cult. It's cult to not keep the commandments and say you got faith. That's a cult attitude. That's a cult situation, and like I said, I don't dwell in that area. But what I do dwell in is statute, laws, and commandments, and I can fight through that, saying, "Hey Lord, you promised, you promised, you promised." You know what I'm saying? You promised to put a force field around my family of protection. You promised that if I keep these commandments, what you will do for me. I don't know how you leave that and you say you love your child. How you leave the commandments and you say you love your kids. How you leave the commandments and you say you love your wife. How you leave you don't. You're in a delusion. You're in 2 Thessalonians 2:11. You're delusional. There's nowhere in the world you're gonna love your child and not keep the commandments. You think that you love your child, but you really, really don't. You think that this job gonna help you, and it's really, really not. You think you're gonna make all this type of money, and you really, really ain't. Listen, man, you can make a whole, you can hit the lottery. And if you're not keeping the commandments, it doesn't say that if you're rich and not keeping the commandments, you're gonna be okay. It says if you're not keeping the commandments, you know what I'm saying? You're in hell with an ass on fire. And so these are the ways and things you got to do. And the great thing about it is that we have no excuses because we have a family that's already doing it. I mean, Elder Torah, Shabbat, they called, I chimed in, and I got another family in New York keeping the commandments. And so if it's only one or two of me, I can feed off 8 or 9 of them in New York that's doing it. If it's only one of me, I can feed off Washington doing it. If it's only one of me, I can feed off Atlanta doing it. If it's only one or two of me, I can feed off Chicago. I go to Chicago and get it done. And so we have outlets to strengthen up our faith that's already connected to the Lord in different cities. If my faith is weak, in New York is connected to the Lord with the same faith, with the same high holy days, with the same new moon. If I can't tap into that and grab strength from them, you see what I'm saying? Come on, keep moving. We got you. No man is left behind. That's what HOI is. HOI is like no man left behind. You see what I'm saying? And so if a man is left behind, that's because he's broken loose. You can't pull somebody. You can't, if somebody falls and I grab them, and I'm trying to pull them up and they bite my hand. I'm trying to pull them up and they bite my hand, like let them go. That's what not keeping the commandments is. Not keeping the commandments is somebody biting your hand saying, let me go, but I still need you to hold on to me. That's what that is. It's confusion. And so we have enough that we can look to that will promote us to keep doing it the Lord's way. And these are the things that to stay focused on, right? Now, I know that We can't be over righteous. Sometimes things get to a balance to where we can't get it done. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it is that if the Lord that's in a situation where you can't, this month can't, that month can't, this day can't, that can't. He must don't want you. And you're not having no problems, that's dangerous. It's dangerous to not be keeping these commandments and not having problems. If you're not keeping these commandments and not having problems, then the Lord don't want you. I can almost tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I can almost tell you that. Because that's not my experience with it. If I wake up Sunday and I have not kept the commandments Sabbath, when I get up, just taking 2 steps, hit my baby toe on the side of the bed. You know what I'm saying? And then I got 2 corns when I thought I had 1. That's how my day be going. I can't get away. And guess what? I don't want to get away. Because that pain is a good pain to keep me to continue on pushing for the Lord. You know, sometimes sometimes you can look back and say, when everybody our multitude has became weak, you know what I'm saying, Lord, I still stay strong. And that's a blessing. But the only thing about that is that, we need the multitude to be with us. You know what I'm saying? We need our brothers and sisters. We need our strength. We got to continue to go out and make sure that they good. You know what I'm saying? But, you can't make sure they good if they're not making sure they're good. You see what I'm saying? And so, the hunger is who we are, and the hunger is who we got to be. It's HOR Detroit. It's the end of the Feast of Tabs. I want to give our praises and honor to. I want to give our praises to Yahweh. Give our glory to lHOI. Give our honors to our elders and our leaders and captains. And I want to. I really love serving the Lord through HOI. I really love that. And there's a saying that if you want to go to a good camp where they have no problems, don't go there, because you're gonna mess it up. And so when you go to a camp, you got to go to a camp knowing that, hey, everything ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I want to be here. That's why I want to be, amongst the brothers that's keeping the commandments, through warfare, because war makes you imperfect, in certain areas when you're trying to do the right thing. And so the devil is warned on us, like a fleeing lion, coming to devour us, so in these areas we're gonna be okay. We just keep on and keep it on. So like I say, Detroit, most we turned out good. We're working hard, and I just want to give all thanks and all honors to the leaders of HOI. When they come home, the assignment, when they come home, the assignment has been, I want priests, Elder Torah, the captains, when they come, to the school, I want them to say, job well done, their blessings, and see, one thing about it is that I remember, a lot of time when there was an angel coming to Joshua, right? But he didn't know there was an angel, because he pulled out the sword. So Joshua pulled out his sword, like, what's up? Let's do this. And he said, I'm an angel for the Lord. And then Joshua fell down into a humble, bowing situation, because he knew that he came from the Lord. And so Joshua bowed down to him with utmost respect. And so that's how we have to be with our leaders. So we have to, honor them. We have to we have to go out to make them happy. Because if you're not trying to make a person happy, who the Lord put in front of you, you can't make everybody upset or mad. If the Lord puts somebody for you to follow, He the closest thing to the Lord that you can follow. Now we understand He's not your HOR. We're not saying all that, but at that point, you can't make the Lord happy, but you can make the Lord happy by the person that He put in front of you. Because at this point, that's who the Lord assigned you to. You can't say, okay, the Lord, Priest Shabbat assigned Aria. Now somebody in Detroit don't like Aria because Aria is not old enough that he feel. So since Aria is not old enough that he feel, he don't want nothing to do with the camp. That's really destruction, because your house died at 33. I'm twice his age. And so if he died at 33 and I'm twice his age, when the Lord sent him, I'm supposed to honor that, right? And so as HOI, the leaders of HOI, we come to make sure that they are honored, right? And vice versa, because when you have a child, you want a child to honor you. You don't want a child to dishonor you. Anybody that the Lord put over, are you over? You want to honor them, and then vice versa, you want the youngest one to honor you, right? Because there's a job that you have to do. If the Lord puts somebody over you, you have to maintain that sheep correctly. You just can't say, hey, treat it like a dog. That's a sheep, and that sheep should respect you. And so, by the time you get to the Lord, you got utmost respect, because I respect the lowest that you send, because the Lord, when you get on that level, everything is high. And even though that my elders are high to me right here, that's still low to God. But everything is high, whoever God has put in front of me. Whoever God put in front of me, I reverence, I follow, and I want to be in His life just to get to Him or stay where I'm at to honor Him. Either way is good with me. And so that's how the Lord, that's how we have to be. And so, I thank the Lord that He has stepped it up a notch. That we are getting to be a powerful nation. We don't have to be the biggest, you know what I'm saying, to be strong. We don't have to be the biggest to be deadly. You know what I'm saying? You got like the Navy SEALs. They're not big at all. They're not no army, but I don't think no army want to mess with them. And that's how I see HOI. You know what I'm saying? We're not no big army. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to taking them bricks off the streets, the Lord has blessed us in that area. So, the Feast of Tabs, we want to say, thank Yahweh Shai for the Feast of Tabs, something we have to follow. Just imagine if you had a Lord and He had nothing for you to do. When you be like, Lord, how can I serve you if you don't got nothing for me to do? But then that's how some of us are. We don't want to do nothing, and He has something for us to do. That's one of them kings off, like that king offering. I want the offering from Abe, where I have something He has something for me to do. And not only do I want to do it, I want to do it 10 times toes down to the best of my knowledge that I can, to please Him. If you want to please anybody more than the Lord, it's not gonna work. You can't please a woman without pleasing the Lord. Period. You know what I'm saying? You may think you're doing something, but neither one of y'all doing nothing. But because the Lord make that better. The Lord make the relationship better. The Lord makes everything better. You know what I'm saying? That's like having a cake with no icing on it. Just plain dough. You know what I'm saying? We got to come to a point to where we seek the Lord and we love the Lord. And even His high holy days and things like that, even blowing His horn is a reverence to Him. You know what I'm saying? So even the little things, right? Detroit. I want to say Kom Yashua.